Let me move ahead one more time. Okay. So we were discussing about the sudo user, right? So the point is just I want to give you some special permissions to the Rahul user what I have created in my machine already. Which type of permission I want to give? So first of all, just you have to open a one file and the file name which I'm gonna open here. Okay. Okay. So this is a one very cool. So what I need to do, just I have to open the file name sudo s, right? So let me open this file sudo s. Okay, this is a one file, guys. What you have to open, okay, if you wants to give a special permissions to the user, and now inside this file you'll be able to get the multiple entries there, right? This is a multiple aliases you have already created. You will also get the examples of the alias, example of the command. Okay, which parameter you want to use to give the permissions to the user. So the point, you can also edit this file the first time. Okay, if you want to give a special permissions to the your user, you can also edit this file, or instead of editing this file, just you can simply create a one more file inside this directory. At multiple time these type of configuration you will get in case of Linux machine. Okay, you will always find one directory as a ends with .d. Okay, what does it mean? So actually when you want to modify any file, so instead of modify the original file, just you can create a one new file regard the configuration. Okay, just drop your file inside this directory. Okay, this is the one thing, it will always most of the time you will find out inside the Linux based operating system. So what's the benefit of using this? Because you didn't modify the actual original file. Okay, whatever you're gonna write inside this particular directory inside the file, those parameter would be able to replace, or you can simply you would be able to the override the parameter of this file as well. Okay, so instead of override this file, just you can create a one more file inside the etc.d. Okay, this particular file just you can create here. So let's suppose I'm going to create a one file named
So
test.
such so one of the reasons is when you do an update, like want to install the latest Linux patch or something, the sudo's file will be replaced and you lose the configuration. That's why they create the sudo's dot d.
Yeah, there's a one more, you can simply say this is the one more reason you can simply the sudoers.d would be able to find. And actually the .d directories most of the time you would be able to find inside the slash etc. Okay, whatever application you're going to install, so most of the
Mhm.
applications will give you the .d directory, because whenever
Okay.
you're going to do this particular whatever files you're going to modify, just you can simply drop your files inside this. And the applications what are you are using, so that particular application will also read the files inside this directory. Okay,
Yeah.
if you have defined one specific parameter, that particular parameter should be override the previous one, that particular parameter will do in the same way. So what I'm trying to do, just I can create any file with any name. Okay, so I'm going to create using the AP2V name. Okay, name could be anything, no issue. And inside this there's some sort of parameters you have to understand. So the first parameter, I'm going to use the username. Okay, after that you have to define the host name. Okay, after that just you have to define the for which user you want to give the permission. Okay, and after that just we have to give the commands. So this is a one parameter you have to understand, guys, if you want to configure the sudo air files. Okay, so the point is for which user you wants to give a one sudo permission. So I want to give a sudo permissions to one of my user, the username is Rahul, right? So I want to give a permissions to the Rahul user, that's good. So if you are using, if you are working inside a production environment or a company, so there you would be able to get the LDAP authentications, and the actual user machine will be on a specific network. Okay, so actually there you will use the host name. Okay, but right now just you can simply mention the all. What does it mean? So Rahul user from which host name will be able to execute the sudo command. Okay, just in my case I'm gonna use a all. So right now, just I'm using a one single machine. So Rahul would be able to execute the sudo command on top of this machine as well. The next parameter, for which user you want to give a permissions to the Rahul. So let's suppose what I have told you, when you are trying to use a sudo, so that particular user will behave like a different user. Just to have to write the username. Okay, from which user you would like to behave the Rahul. So just I have write the root here. Okay, instead of write root, just you can also type the all as well. Okay, this is actually thing. So it will not always behave like a root. So you can simply use any user what you want. So just I'm gonna use it also. What is it? So the Rahul user would be able to execute the command of the all user as a behave. One, it will use a sudo command before the command. This is a one user parameter will specify. Either you can also use the root. The only Rahul user will be able to execute the only root commands, not for another user. The last one, for which command you wants to give a special permissions, you can also use the all. To Rahul user will be able to execute the all command using the sudo prefix, or either you can also give a permissions for a few commands. Either you can give permissions for the only networking devices, or you can also give the permissions for the storage devices or the user authentication, user management. Okay, there's different type of, you can simply select group here. So with the point, let's suppose if you wants to give a permission only for two commands, just I'm gonna, you have to type the path of both commands. So let's suppose if I want to give a permissions for, just give me a moment. So USR has been, so I want to give a permissions for the user, right? At the second, I want to give a permission for the one more command. That particular command name is who am I? With only the two commands, I want to give a permissions to this user. Okay, so the point is when a Rahul user want to use a sudo command before the command, so using the sudo, this particular user would be able to execute only two commands, not any another. Okay, so that's what I mean. Now the point is, just I'm going to execute the syntax what I have right there. Just save this file. This is what I have done. Okay, so hopefully you got the idea about the syntax. So what I'm going to do here, just go back, log in along with the Rahul. That's what I have done. So I'm the Rahul user right now. Just with this command, who am I? Okay, and now this is a Rahul, right? No issue. But the point is, when I want to execute the same command along with a sudo. Okay, so what you are expecting here, guys? So what result you will get from here? Just let me know. When I'm gonna execute this command, so what result you are expecting? What you will get from here?
The password is last for the password.
Yeah,
Or
sorry,
We'll give
Rahul,
all
yeah.
the
sorry, I didn't understand. Could you please repeat what you have done?
Yeah, it lasts for the password of Rahul to execute this stuff.
Yeah, obviously, when you're gonna use a sudo, it will always ask a password from you, because I didn't mention no pass WD, right? So I will explain this particular point as well. But the point is the file is converted. So let me close. The point when I'm gonna execute this. So oops, just a moment. Unable to initialize user plugin, blah blah. Oh, I have mentioned, my bad guys. I have just one error. I have done just one error inside the file. Syntax mistake, my bad. That's a long time. All now that's a cool. When we try to save, just go back to the Rahul again. Okay, just execute the same command again. Sudo who am I? Okay, just look at this. That was a one syntax mistake. What I have done, just I have removed the syntax, because we have to use a set of parentheses. Okay, so when you are trying to execute the sudo first time, so the first time only you will get this prompt. Because if you're gonna use a sudo, so you have a one, respect the privacy of others, because you have extra privileges instead of different user, right? Think before you type. With great power there comes a great responsibility. But the password for the Rahul, what I have said, so 123. Then one, I'm gonna execute this. Just look at this. Or either just you can also execute the same command again. Now it will not ask a password for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Each and every operating system have a different session time of the sudo. Okay, so just I'm gonna execute. So now it will not ask the password for the next 15 minutes. After that it will ask again. So the point is, so this is a rule, because you have used a sudo along with it, right? So now if you are trying to add a user inside in your machine, so let me try to add user at Sachin, so would not be able to add. So what happen if I'm gonna use the same command? Which command I have to use? Sudo user at Sachin. So this is a one shortcut you can simply use. So actually this is not a shortcut, this is a way to execute the previous command. So if you don't want to write the previous one, just I have used the double exclamation mark. What does it mean? So it will execute the sudo user at Sachin. Okay, so at the point, the point is the one thing. Sorry, user Rahul is not allowed to execute this command. User at Sachin as root on top of this machine. Okay, because that's what I have told you. The host name is all and all these things. Might be, I think we have done a one more mistake into the command path. Okay, not to worry, we will simply correct that particular path. But the only the this just look at this. The who am I command is able to execute by the Rahul using a sudo. Okay, if you want to correct that particular another command as well. So if you want to execute this command, just you have to use this path. Put this path again into the same file. Oh, just look at this. The R is missing, right? That's what we have done. So just my bad about that. So I'm gonna write the R here. Save again. Just go back to the Rahul. Okay, just use the same command. User at Sachin. Just I'm again and again I'm gonna using a reverse search, right? Using the reverse search, you don't have to type the whole command. So the previous command will be automatically fetched from the history. Sudo user at Sachin and just look at the user Sachin has been added in your machine. You can verify using this method. Okay, that's a power of the sudo guys. And now the only one thing, the Rahul only able to create the Sachin user, not able to delete the user. Just look at this. If you want to delete, you can simply use this command. The hyphen r will remove the home directory as well. If you will not mention the hyphen r, the home directory and the mail directory would not be deleted of the user of the Sachin. Okay, if you will not mention the hyphen r along with the user there. So I want to delete the Sachin user along with the home directory. I'm a Rahul user along with sudo permissions. Permission denied. Okay, because you cannot use this command. Only you can use the two commands what you have mentioned inside the sudo file. Hopefully you got the idea, guys. And now let me go back. If you want to give the full permissions or full access instead of mention these commands here, just what I need to do. So I'm gonna remove all these commands, mention the all. That's what you can simply do here. Okay, just go back. Rahul, what command you want to execute? So you can use this command sudo ls sudo user delete hyphen r Sachin. So you can execute each and every command using the sudo because you have mentioned the all there, right? So that's how you can simply use this command. There's a one more thing you have to remember. What does it mean? The point is, let's suppose if I want to add a one more user in my machine, and the username could be anything. If I'm going to use a Kalyani user here, so what does it mean? So just you want to give a sudo permissions to the Kalyani, okay? But you want to give a one special permission, sudo permission without password. What does it mean? So actually, whenever a Kalyani user want to execute a sudo command, so it will not prompt a password from the Kalyani. So for that, just you have to add a one more entry. This particular type of thing you will be get multiple time in your productions. Okay, so in the environment, so let me edit this file, and here just I'm going to put the entry for the Kalyani user. Spelling should be correct. I'm worried about in spelling. Oops. No pass wd. So this is a one parameter, guys, you have to add one. You're going to add this parameter. So what does it mean? So whenever a Kalyani user wants to execute any command using the sudo, that particular user don't want to execute any password. It will not prompt any password from the Kalyani. Just look at this. Use a sudo first time. That's cool. No issue. Who am I? Just look at it. There's a no password prompt because I have mentioned a one parameter named no pass wd. Okay. So that's how you can simply use a sudo in your machine. That's how you can simply edit the sudo file in your machine. Okay. And just if you are able to see the one more thing here, if you're gonna look it in this file, okay, you can also give a permissions to the whole group. Allow the people in a allow group will to the run all commands. So what does it mean? So just group name. Before that, you have to use a 1% sign. If you want to give a sudo permissions to the whole group, just you can simply use this syntax. You can add all those users as a secondary or a supplementary users into a different group using the user mode command along with a hyphen small g. That's what we have already done. Okay. And now if you want to give a permissions on top of multiple commands, so these are the group. If you are able to see, these are the commands. If you want to give a users permissions for the storage section, so these are the already alias created. Okay, you don't have to create your aliases. So if you're gonna mention the storage there instead of one or two commands, so the user would able to execute all these commands what you have mentioned here. So these are the aliases already created in your machine. If you want to give permissions for to manage the process as a root user, delegating the permissions and the all these things, this is a method, guys. Okay. If you have still a doubt inside the sudo, just you can let me know. Otherwise, we will move forward to the password age. That will be the next topic inside the user management. Any one of you? It's fine. Hello.
Yeah, you can
Yeah, Sachin.
proceed. Yeah.
Okay, so let's come to the password age, guys. That will be the next thing what we have to learn. Password age I'm talking about. Okay, and this is a very important thing actually. You have to know about the password age as well. When you will discuss about the password age or the user expiry date, okay, there's a multiple parameter you have to understand in case of user management. Let's suppose you have add a user. Okay, actually we have already added two users in our machine. If I'm gonna look it into the both user, just look at this. So using this command I can simply check the bottom two line using this command. Okay, and you will get the Rahul and the Kalyani, the both users would have add in my machine. Okay, these are the home directories and all these things, not an issue. But the point is, let's suppose if you want to look at the password of the both users, what password you have set, just you have to use the same command. But I'm gonna change the file name because your password has been stored inside the shadow. Okay, and just look at this. So the Rahul user have already set the password, right? Because if you are able to, this is the one encrypted password have been set by the Rahul user. But the Kalyani didn't set any password, that's why there's exclamation mark. There's one more thing after the password. All these are the fields, right? So actually these are fields belongs from the password age. Okay, what is actually password age? So let me explain. So if you want to change the password age or the list the password age, so just you have to use this command. Okay, the command name is chase. So chase command is used to set the password age for your user. Just use this command. Okay, hyphen list, I want to list the password age for which user you want to talk about. So let's suppose for the Rahul, that's cool. So just I'm gonna execute and you will get the all options here. What does it mean? So on which date Rahul have been changed their passwords? So on 31 October 2020. So this is the last date when Rahul have been changed their passwords. Password expire never, because the default values of these values is never. Password inactive is a still never. Account expire never. Minimum number of days between password change is 0. What does it mean? You can change your password multiple times in a single day. Okay, if you're going to set a value here, if you're going to set a 2 here, what does it mean? So you cannot change your password today because the last password change is 31. Okay, only you can also you can change the password after 2 days if you want to set the minimum number of days here. If you had to remember in case of Facebook or the Instagram as well, if you're going to change the username of on top of Facebook or the Instagram, might be you will get the 60 days, right? After 60 days you can simply change the username again. So this is actually the minimum number of days. If you have set your password on top of 31 October, so you cannot change the password if you're going to set the maximum number minimum number of days. And what is actually the maximum number? So this is a maximum number. You will, this is the default value 9999. So in these days at least you have to change your password at one time. Otherwise if you will not change your password in these days, okay, it could be value could be anything, right? It could be 20 as well. The point, before 7 days you will get the warning, please change your password. Otherwise your password will be expired, because you have to set this particular thing as well, password expire. Okay, so these are the things, guys, what you want to mention. If you want to change these fields, just you can simply change these fields using this method chase. For which user you want to do, for Rahul, you will get the all options. If you want to set the minimum password age 2 days, that's cool. Maximum password age 20. Last password change, if you want to change, just to mention the date or let it be give the enter. If you want to set the expire warning date, you can also set. Password inactive you can also set. If you want all these things, you can simply do along according to your requirement. Let me go list again, just look at this. So few values I have changed here. Okay, so now the maximum number of days password I have set 20. Before 2 days you will get the warning, you will start getting the warning from the console. Okay, these are the many or number of days. So what does it mean? If a Rahul user want to change their password, just look at this. Okay, and how a user would be able to execute the password, change the password, just only using the passwd command. So if I'm going to execute this command, okay, it will ask a current password. That's cool, no issue. I'm going to mention you must wait longer to change your password. Okay, you will get this option because you have to wait at least 2 days, because you have already changed your password on top of 31 October. So all these are the parameters you can set according to your requirement, and these parameters you will also find out in your company for the your user account what you are using there, right? So, and instead of using the change command as well, you can also do these type of parameter using the passwd. For that, just you can simply open the manual page using the man, and inside this man you will get the multiple options. Okay, to unlock a user account, to lock a user account, right? To expire a user account, minimum days, maximum days, warning days, inactive status. So you can also do all these operations at a single operations using this command. But along using a chase, just to have to fulfill all the operation at once. So this is all about the password manage. Sorry, password age, guys. And now, if you have still doubt, just you can simply let me know. So this is all about the user management what we have to learn. Okay, now you are able to understand how you can simply create a user in your machine, how you can simply add users inside the group, how you can simply change the primary group, how you can simply add the secondary group, and all these things we have learned. Any one of you, if you have any doubt from the user management, just you can simply let me know, guys. And now there's only one thing as remember I may explain to you. So the point is, let's suppose I'm the user, right? The first thing you have to remember, if I'm gonna log in along with any user, SU hyphen Rahul, okay. A user have created a one file, data.txt, no issue. The file has been created. The, who's the owner of this file? You can simply look at this particular column. Okay, this particular column will give you the owner of this file. The another one will be the group owner of this file. Now the point is, let's suppose if you want to change the owner or the group owner of this file, on that time just you can simply use a chown command for that. So chown command is used to change the owner as well as the group owner. Okay, which method you can simply use, just if you are trying to use, if you want to change the ownership of the data.txt and you want to give the Kalyani, I want to give only the ownership. Just don't use a colon and the group name as well. Only you can simply give a ownership to that Kalyani. So just let me know, guys, when I'm gonna execute this command would happen. Okay. Who's know about the chown command? Just you can simply let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna explain. The point is just when you are talking about the change the ownership of any file. The first thing, a normal user will not be able to change the ownership of any file. That's the one thing you have to remember. Only the root user will be able to change the ownership of any file. If you are trying to execute this command, the operation not permitted, the syntax is correct, there's a no issue inside this, but the point is you cannot do this thing. Okay, only the root user can do this thing. So let me go to the root. Okay, if you want to change the permissions for the any user what you are trying to do the time. So let's suppose you want to change the permissions Rahul to the Kalyani, just use the same command. Okay, for which file? Data.txt. Cool, the ownership has been changed. Now who's the owner of this file? The Kalyani user. If you want to change the group ownership, just use the same command. Okay, just put the Kalyani after the colon. Okay, that's a command you can simply use here, ls-1l. Okay, and the group ownership is also changed. There's a one short difference. If you are able to see, just I have put the colon before this Kalyani, right? What does it mean? Now you are trying to change the group ownership, and before the colon just you have to put the ownership. And you can do all both the operations into the single command as well, because we have already changed the ownership, that's why I didn't mention again. Okay, that's how you can simply change the ownership of the file or the directory as well. Okay, if there's a multiple files inside a directory, or my bad, if there's a multiple file inside a directory, then you can simply use a recursive option as well. Okay, you know very well about the hyphen r. So you can also change the permissions of all the files in the directory what you have stored inside the directory using these methods. So now that's
Can
all
you
about for today.
give us an example where you change both user and
Yeah,
ownership and group ownership?
yeah, let's suppose just in the previous, just when we were trying to copy some files for a user, right? Then now the point is, eh, there's a you will find out that some file you have created a multiple files and directory, right? So if you are able to see these are the files and directory which is owned by the root user and the group owner by the root user. Now the point is, let's suppose if you want to copy these file inside for any user, just you can copy these file, right, using this method. I'm gonna copy both the files. Okay, for which user I want to copy? So I want to copy for the Kalyani user. Oops, my bad. Home. So inside this directory, I'm gonna copy both the files. No issue. The file has been copied successfully. Let me go to the directory. Just look at this. Now the point is, when I'm gonna log out from the root, I'm gonna log in using the Kalyani user. Okay, just look at this. Let me log in. Okay. So just you have copied the files for him, for her, right? But the point is, when I have logged in along with my username as Kalyani, so but you cannot read these files. Okay, so root user have gave you both the files because you don't have any permissions on this file. Okay, we will talk about the permission in next chapter. Okay, this is a next chapter of the user management. But the point, if you don't have any permissions for the other and the root, but owner have a permissions for the read and write. Okay, group still don't have. So just the root user can change the ownership of the files because even you cannot be able to delete this file, right? So for that, just what you need to do, just you have to go back, okay, along with the root user, because you cannot change the ownership. The Kalyani user cannot change the ownership of these files. Only the ownership has been changed by the root user, but the group ownership also changed by the root user as well as by the normal user as well. Okay, but there's a one condition at that time. You can change the group ownership from one group to another, but you should be the member of that particular group. Only there's a one typical way. Now the point is, if you want to exchange both the things, so let me use the same command, Kalyani colon the same thing, and the both the files, just do the asterisk sign. That's done. Now you have a permissions, Kalyani and Kalyani, both things. I may log in, go back to the same. Now this user can do anything along with these files. Now this is the owner of these files. Even delete the data, whatever you want to do, just delete all the data. Hide from. That's what I have done. Okay, so this is the way. Still any doubt?
No, it's good.
Okay. So anyone of else? So because this is for today, guys, and now we will learn in the from next session from tomorrow, we will start the session permission. Okay. So before that, just you have to go through using all these sessions, right?
Sure.
There's a one more thing, guys. I would like to request to all of you, if you have videos from the previous session, just let me know who have a videos of the previous session. Can you drop those videos into the WhatsApp group? Any one of you, if anyone have?
No, Sujan, actually, I
Yeah,
haven't
I
record.
can I can do it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Actually, there might be the Rahul and the Kalyani needs the videos, the previous
Yeah,
session.
sure. I'll drop
Okay,
it.
they
Yeah.
will go through the videos. After that, they will be single with us. Okay.
Yeah, it might not be complete, but
Not worry,
yeah,
they will
I'll
get the
try.
idea. And the both the users, both who have joined today, if you will face any issue, just you can simply drop your queries and the message into the chat box or WhatsApp group. Okay, and if you are still facing any issue, just you can before the class, just you can simply share your screen. Okay, I will give you the solutions there, right?
Okay. And
Okay.
Sachin, please make sure to check that terminal thing which I'm facing here.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Just
I
to
mean
I
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, goodbye. Take care.
Bye, Sachin. Thank
Goodbye.
you.